We're going to be talking about some of the heavy-hitting tech choices that are seeing success right now. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. We're going to start off over here with Synchro Zone. Now, this is a personal poke here, but I do want to say that the three tech choices of Runic, either you play Messenger Piece or Scrub Draid, that has been the way that it has been since, well, most of this format, actually. Johnny brought Scrub Draid into the lights of many players where, you're able to send a dead skill drain on your field, or, needing to turn your skill drain off to skip battle phases. And I personally like to stick to Messenger Piece, because I think that, the maintaining of, the 100 life points, sure, it does hurt you in time. Depends on, the meta and things that you're playing with, but, letting little aggressors through versus ending a whole battle phase every single turn, you've got your differences. But something with Synchro Zone was brought to our attention because it acts in the same light as Messenger of Peace and the other Scrub Draid, but it makes it so that only synchros can declare attacks. Now, yes, things like Baron de Fleur, and I mean, if you do run into an entire Bysteel Synchro deck, Synchro Zone's not going to stop that huge aggression coming towards you. But the big thing with this is the fact that the Synchro Zone does turn off everything else. So literally every other matchup other than anything that has to do with synchros would be the point that I would want to try Synchro Zone. I think it's a cute little interaction with the deck, and it's also going to very much depend on your meta. Obviously, there's a lot of metas where this is not going to really stick around, but other than that, I do think that you pick one of your three choices if you're playing the if you're playing Runic, and you just kind of go from there, honestly. Next up is High Rate Draw, and this is something that I saw Tier starting to play. Now, we've seen High Rate Draw before. All right, this is we're no strangers seeing this card kind of tech around out here in the tech choice bomb, but it's destroy 2 or more monsters you control, and if you do, draw 1 card for every 2 monsters destroyed. Cool. So if I'm in with the, like, a Shayren or a Havnus on my field, because I need to do my thing, so we can pop both of those with this. And guess what? We get a free draw, so the card replaces itself. Now, both of our monsters just got popped, so now we can initiate the fusion Shokons and start rotating those back to the deck. And then during your opponent's main phase, if this is in the graveyard, you can target 1 monster that we control and destroy it. Cool. So during my opponent's turn, I can also pop and do a fusion Shokon, and then this card will set itself back to the field, but then it gets banished when it leaves the field. Now remember, you can only use this effect of High Rate Draw once per turn. So I can technically destroy 2, draw 1, trigger, and then since it's during the opponent's turn, during the main phase, I can go ahead and do it again. I don't think there's going to be a time where I'm going to have all 3 names on the field, but there might be a possibility of, on the follow-up on the later turns, or you do mill this off and you do need to bring this back in order to kind of set back up and do some additional plays. Like, that's probably where your best little tie-ins are going to be, with the recurability of this, so that you can continue on with your day and just keep on laughing at your opponent. Definitely one of the cuter little choices that I think that our meta kind of can have going for it. You know what I mean? High Rate Draw. Definitely didn't expect to see that today. Next up is Dimension Shifter. Now, don't get me wrong. I even debated if this was truly a tech choice at this point, but honestly, with how much Shifter has been showing up in decks that you wouldn't expect to see Shifter, it's genuinely a call to the meta just to go, hey, this is a problem, all right? Like, if you've got purely out here a deck that people would play Shifter against, siding Shifter, you have Unchained that has also been seen playing Shifter. We've also got Runic decks that are playing Shifter out here. Very strange that all of these mentioned decks, except for Unchained, typically get hurt, or visionally got hurt, by Shifter in the past. The biggest thing that these decks are kind of doing at this point in time is, while Shifter might handicap them, it doesn't totally take out their kneecaps. It gives them the chance to kind of build a board underneath and go, hey, we can still kind of structurally do something. It might not be the most insane board at the end of the day, but the point is, hey, what if I got a purely monster on the field? I can start sucking up, these spells so that they don't go to the graveyard. Well, congratulations. Now, we've started tugging them under. I didn't have to worry about them going to the graveyard. So now Shifter's playing in my favor. Unchained doesn't really give two craps about their graveyard. And Runic actually having access to it is still by far, I think, one of the most hilarious things that should not have been a thing. But the fact that even Flunder was the only deck we thought Shifter would see playing. Now, Shifter's just moved to the side deck. It's doing its thing, and it's standard at this point. I don't know what else to really say. This is just the beginnings of the shape up of probably seeing Shifter sticking around for a very long time. Next up is actually Hatronade. Now, the only decks that I have seen that are really kind of playing Hatronade right now are probably your more combo-heavy variants. So basically, obviously, it's a very simple card. Just return all set spells and traps on the field to the hand. The inherent problem with this is your opponent's just going to go chain crazy. All right? If there is something back there, a skill drain, a Gozen, a rivalry, congratulations. It's now face up on the field. You don't get the value that, you're supposed to with Hatronade at that point in time. The real thing that Hatronade gives you is it forces immediate activations, or they float all back to the hand. Problem is if I'm playing against Runic, if they already set the spells, they're all going to be live anyway because of the fountain. And the other main thing is it depends. What are you really afraid of? I understand Hatronade forces out the floodgates, forces out the bad back row, or you technically blow off a negate. Typically, what if there's a reframing set? This at least answers reframing if you're playing. I don't know why you'd be boarding this in the mirror. You're going to be boarding this in for heavy additional back row decks to make sure you can do your thing. Or if you think your opponent's going to set 2 to 3 problem cards. Also, to be fair, this is also pretty good against Rescue Ace. I think that'd be the main thing I would want to board this in for, would be Ace, because when they do the set 4, you're able just to go, oh, hey, crazy. You got the chance to do all that. Let's go ahead and slam down the Hatronade. Now they're going to have to debate, do I just take these back to the hand? Do we chain and set up the interactions? It gives you the clean slate to be able to play the game. And that's kind of cute, actually. So I will give them some credit. It definitely seems worthwhile. Next up, we have Ultimate Slayer. This was something that I saw a couple Runic duelists brought to my attention. Was hey, we can play this to go second. I also saw it show up in a couple of other lists this week more randomly, where you're sending Malong as the Synchro monster to kind of clean up the issues that, hi Baron DeFleur, how are you in your negate? You're basically using it to fire that. Now, obviously, most of the Evil Twin stuff doesn't even see play with this anymore. I always love the fact that you can play the Link 4 for the dump, and you can banish, get an additional spot removal by dropping the Kish. It's cute. I love the idea behind it, but it's not really, depends on the build that you're trying to play, but it doesn't really feel like it's all that worthwhile at the moment. So, TLDR, Ultimate Slayer is seeing a little bit more play as a card to kind of clean up the going second issues. Obviously, Meteorologic Aggregator basically ends, these additional dump cards, for Fusion, Xyz, Malong for, Synchro. Those are typically your go-to cards to make sure you can dump up whatever. And then for Link, whatever you're not playing at the time. Typically, most of these decks have enough Link monsters that they can, just toss one at their opponent, and their opponent's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to have to clean up your trash there. But interestingly enough, those are our tech choices out of everything that we've been seeing so far. So, what do you guys think? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.